Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Bill. I'm an expat and I'm living in the Philippines. And by now you figured out that I'm also a prepper. So I want to go over a generator I picked up on sale, as always, if you know me. And now this generator is not my power plan for the future, but it's all I have available to me now until I can do some more construction and have roof space for solar. But I needed something on hand that I can use to power my water shop and some critical things during a long-term power outage or brownout. So with that in mind, I went and looked for a generator, and I ended up picking up this Kabura KB380. They say it's a 3 kilowatt dual fuel gas and propane LPG generator. Now this is as it came right out of the box. The price will be posted somewhere here. But let me show you what I got with this kit, and then I'm going to show you what I'm about to do to it. So it came with some oil. It came with, I'm assuming, an oil and/or fuel filter. It's got a bag with some parts. Now it did come with an extra spark plug and some little foot pegs here, and some really extremely cheap generator plugs, genset plugs. It's got an owner's manual that is 100% Chinese, so I'm gonna have to figure this out. I'm assuming this was supposed to be the gas line, and this extremely cheap plastic bolted together gas regulator. And for some reason, they threw in a little toolkit that really has nothing to do with what's needed for this generator. Now it is dual fuel. It didn't come with any casters. It didn't come with any instructions. What it came with was a good price. So, and the reviews are pretty good on this guy as well. Now this is the electric start model. So it has a key and a push button start on the front. We're looking at the back here. It's got a stainless exhaust. And then if you see here on the front, we got two 220 volt gen outputs. We got the battery that needs connected still, a voltmeter, an on-off switch. It's a 2-pull, a key start, which is probably going to be the electric start right there, and the equipment. So that was it. I got all of that for the price I mentioned. All right. So what I did was I picked up local hardware stores some nuts and bolts and washers, and from Shopee online, and I'll link the price above. I got some heavy duty genset locking rubber casters. My hope is twofold. One is it's going to help me move the thing around easier. Two, it should reduce some of the vibration noise. I picked up a righteous regular LPG hose with clamps, replace that cheap one. I picked up some good genset plugs, and these plugs come with a 4-way extension already, so I can just plug these right into the genset, and then I can run multiple cords or devices right off that. I got a set of those. Price is linked right there. I picked up an actual metal, high quality LPG gas regulator. I got this locally. It was like 400 pesos, give or take. And then I also picked up a couple, and I didn't know if I was going to use these or not. These are PRCD plugs. So basically they have the built-in trigger for current overload. Now this this generator is set at 13 amps. So, you know, it's not going to run, you know, a third of the house. It's not going to run everything, but it's definitely powerful enough where I can run my water business. I might have to run the well pump first, fill up the tanks, and then run the water pumps and fill up the product and so on, or refs or whatever. But I'm going to have this set up. I'm going to first figure out how to set it up. I'm going to put the caster wheels on it. I'm going to get it mobile, easy for me to move around. And then I'm going to go ahead and fill it with oil, let that sit for half a day or so. Then I'm going to hook up a tank of propane, which is the primary method I plan on running this genset. And then we'll give it a fire up test. So you'll see me next when all of that grunt work is done and I'm ready to fire it up and test it. Stand by, 2 seconds. Hey everyone, welcome back. So it's been a few days and you're going to get some noise because I'm up on the patio here that sits right on the main road in town where I live. But there's no sun here right now, and I didn't want to do this second part of the generator test in the sun. So what I did, and it actually took me a little bit of work, let me show you what I got going on here, is I got those casters installed. And it was interesting because these big bolts right here didn't fit quite good enough into this metal one. So instead of going down to smaller bolts, I used a rat tail file and I just filed out all 4 holes on each caster, and then I got it installed. Now, I'm doing LPG as my option. I'm not even going to mess with the gas. I did put oil in it the other day. It's got a 3/4 of a pint or whatever the bottle of oil is. It's full up. I let it sit for a day, day and a half so the oil gets where it needs to be. I have connected a nicer LPG hose here, and then I also the upgraded version of the regulator. And I got a full tank of gas, one of the baby tanks. And I went ahead and plugged these guys in, and it's interesting that these don't stay closed. I might have to use a rubber band to put on there, so if it's out here in the rainy season, it'll be closed. And I did connect the batteries, and I did cut the key and installed it there. That is all I've done since you've seen me last. Now, I'm on a patio because hopefully everyone understands that when you run a generator, and it doesn't matter if it's liquid gas or if it's gasoline diesel, you don't run it indoors, right? Fumes bad. Unless you have proper venting and you've run an exhaust pipe. You know, they do have an outlet here for the exhaust. So I'm assuming if you were to, no choice but to put this inside somewhere, you could at least exhaust that part out. But I highly recommend not running a generator indoors. Please don't. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I had to read some Chinese to figure out where I switched the fuels at. So the first thing I did was I turned off the gas, right? The regular gas tank, which is empty. Nothing in there. And this apparently means switch between gas and LPG. It has it's a 3-position pull, so I'm guessing in the middle it's going to be a neither. Now, I don't know which side means gas and which side means LPG. I'm going to assume that it's probably right, according to this side, it's going to be the gas, so that would be gas, and then all the way over on this side is going to be the LPG. Now, I haven't even turned this on yet, honestly. So I'm going to open up the gas. I'm going to give it a second to see if it needs to push gas in anywhere where it needs to go. And then we'll give it a shot here. Now, one thing I didn't say before about this, when you first put your gas on, you got air in your hose line. They do have a vent button here that you can push that will allow the gas to take all the air out of the line, and then you're just pushing gas straight in. And this guy I flipped right here. It says LPG, and then it has CNG, which I don't even know what that means here, but I switched this that way, and the combination is this guy's all the way to the right. This is in what I believe to be the LPG spot. This, I think, only comes into effect after the generator is running, so I'm not going to turn that on until I start the generator. And if it goes well, it should literally just be turning this key. Now, they say let it sit here for a minute because it might be a glow plug or something, so I'm going to let it sit here for a couple seconds in this position, and then let's crank it over. right, not yet. I'll give it a couple more tries here. All right, so that doesn't seem to work. Let me switch this the other direction just to see if that's what I'm doing wrong. And that is indeed. All right, so now we know the switch needs to go one way and then the other. So now this is supposed to be 69 dBs. It is kind of loud. I did lock down a couple of the casters so it won't slide and roll around. But it turned on. I mean, once I got the gas right, bang, it was right on. So that part is good. Now, it says it has 220 volts. And if I turn this on, I'm assuming I have power here and I can see lights. All right. So I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to do a simple test here real quick. So running this fan, obviously, with a small device is no problem. Now, this is a 13 amp. To 20 volt generator. I don't know if it's 13 amps split between the two or what, but let's come in here and I'm going to unplug my freezer. And I'm going to plug it in here. All right, now I did hear the low draw on the machine, but obviously the freezer's on. If you notice when I pulled that out, or when I plugged it in, that the engine idle, so it felt the draw, but it picked it up just fine. I have backup power. Now, I might not have a lot because it's 3 kilowatts, but I guarantee you this will keep my water business running. Maybe not all the equipment at one time, but I can move along in stages. So if I have a long period of brownout or blackout, this will certainly keep me running my business. I do have the solar panels. Hang on, let me shut this off. Hang on. All right. Boy, that exhaust smells funny. I walked right by it and I got a whiff of propane exhaust. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this back in. Always a pain to plug in. All right. Hey, once I got the gas switch figured out right, it fired up on the very first try. So I was happy about that. I'll go ahead and shut this off while I think about it. So anyways, like I was saying, I do have the solar panels and the solar generators, 2 of them now that I picked up the Bluetti, to charge small devices, laptops, LED lights, flashlights, radios, whatever I need. But that Bluetti is 600 watts and it obviously isn't big enough to run my water shop. It will definitely run a single free refrigerator, but not the massive amount of stuff. So my setup here is pretty much, I would have this out here under this as best as possible for rain. And I'm only going to roll it out when I'm using it. And then I'll take these cords and I'll throw them down through my little opening here downstairs. And then from there we'll run extensions. So that is the rest in the end of my Carbaru KB 3800 model dual fuel gen, straight out of China. Battery came charged, plugged right in, worked great. The only disappointing thing is it didn't have casters. Fine, I remedied that. I bought some real heavy duty. I'm kind of glad it didn't come with cheap, crappy ones that I would replace. But I got that in, and I got a better LPG regulator and hose, one that wasn't quite so cheap. So again, sorry about the noise. If you want a quick peek of what the view from up here looks like, the big lake is just on the other side of those trees, you know, and it goes all the way out to the mountain ranges and stuff. But yeah, it's my little patio for when it's hot. Like it's hot right now. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up. I think for the price I paid for this, remember it was on sale, and I already highlighted the price in the beginning. This is a great generator. And with that, until next time, thank you.